I recently took a business trip to Bucharest, Romania, and had the pleasure of eating in the most famous restaurant in Bucharest. Yes, I say it's the most famous restaurant in Bucharest because if you Google most famous restaurant in Bucharest, Karu Kubur will show up. If you look in AI, in Gemini, you will find the most famous restaurant in Bucharest is Karu Kubur. So I thought, while I was there, it'd be worth checking out Karu Kubur. Now, my attraction to it as a tourist was the simple fact that it's the oldest brewery in Bucharest. It serves the same recipe as it did 140 years ago. And this is what drew me there as a tourist. Now, when I uncovered and looked under the hood in terms of what they're doing to drive people to the restaurant, there were some things I was impressed with, like their social media is outstanding. However, the website struggles. And I think there are a lot of opportunities to get more people into this restaurant. When I showed up to this restaurant, it was actually quite empty. It was around dinner time, and there was literally maybe 2 tables in the basement that were occupied. And so it was pretty empty. I think there's a lot of opportunity to get this place full on a nightly basis. I would expect that there would be a waiting list out the door to get into this restaurant on any given night of the week and not just Saturday, Sunday. However, that was not the case. And I've uncovered a couple of opportunities here that I'm going to dive into today. Let's dive in. All right, first and foremost, when I Google famous restaurant in Bucharest, boom, there it is, number 1, 73,000 reviews with a 4.5 rating. You know this place has got to be awesome. Anytime there's over 1,000 reviews at over a 4.5 rating, there's a good chance that restaurant is really good. Now, going over to Gemini, I asked Gemini, what is the most famous restaurant in Bucharest? There it is. The most famous and arguably most iconic restaurant in Bucharest is Karu Kubur. Okay, now this restaurant has some of the most beautiful architecture I have ever seen inside of a restaurant. We're talking about 140 plus years of history, neo-Gothic architecture, a building classified as a historical monument. They've had the likes of the Rolling Stones and Japanese royalty eat inside of this restaurant. So it's good. And you know it's appealing to tourists, which is a good thing, but can also be a bad thing. Now, looking at their website, and I'll get into that in a second on how it could be a bad thing to just have tourists come into your restaurant. But if you look at the website, it's very simple. It doesn't shout to me and show me visually what it looks like and what the aesthetic of that restaurant is, or what kind of experience I could have at the restaurant. The first thing I should see when I open up this website is some sort of a reel or video showing what it's like to be at that restaurant. I know this was the second time I've actually been at Karu Kubur. The first time I was there was with my wife a couple years ago, and we were there and it was amazing. They had singing, dancing, concerts all going on at the same time, and it was super busy. Mind you, it was also a Saturday night. But you look at this website here and it doesn't show any of that, which proves to me there's a huge opportunity to drive additional visitors into this restaurant. Now, when you look at this website, it just looks very stale. It looks like it hasn't been touched since 2018. And even some of the copy. At the foundation of Karu Kubur's identity lays a history of more than 140 years, starting with the Micro brothers among the Mircea brothers, among which Mircea Nicolae as the founder, his legacy and historical building. Let's hear more about that. Unfortunately, I don't see anything here about, and no, there's not really any storytelling. There's no video tour. There's no behind the scenes of how they make their signature beer, which is a recipe from 1879. All these, this specific fact as to what drove me there is not even mentioned here on the website when I go there. Maybe I have to dig for it a bit. So if I look at history, go down to historic building, gives me a little more information on the history of it. But I think they should really lean into this front and center. We know the attention spans of people on the internet are very short. You have to capture my attention super quick. I fear that a lot of people hitting this website are probably bouncing very quickly. Now let's have a peek around exactly what they're doing on their social channels. So if I take a look here, here's their Facebook page, going to the ad library, because I'm very interested in what kind of ads a restaurant would be running, because heck, I've been running ads for restaurants for years and I know what works. These guys are running 3 very simple ads, and it looks like they're promoting an event happening. It looks like New Year's. Yeah, it's a New Year's celebration for 2026. Right now we're in October 1st and they're starting to promote this in September 23rd, which is great. But actually September 4th, they're starting to run ads. That's all they're promoting though, is this specific event. There's no retargeting happening. If I'm somebody that lands at the Bucharest airport, I should be hammered with Karo Kubar ads in my face to get there and have an experience. I should be told about what's happening on any given night in terms of events. How about telling me some of the items on the menu? Showcasing the stained glasses and vaulted ceilings. Like showcasing some of this stuff through ads is a huge opportunity to get more people in to the restaurant on a Tuesday night. Now, here's the thing. When I go over to the Instagram, it looks absolutely fantastic. I love the aesthetic. I love what they're doing with the highlights here, the consistency and branding. The branding is on point. And the content itself looks really good as well. So if I choose one of these, let's choose one here at random. I love that every meal tastes like history. Such a cool slogan. And I love the content. I think that reel deserves to be on the website front and center. Like that showcases a little bit of the experience I could have on a Tuesday night at Karo Kubar, right? Unfortunately, the only place I can find that is on their Instagram feed, and they've only got 69 likes. This is a big problem that a lot of restaurants are doing, is they're creating amazing content. It sits on their feed, or it sits on their page, on their grid, and gets 69 likes, and then it begins and ends at 69 likes, and that's it. And then they're on to the next thing. Whoa, hang on a sec. This is timeless content. This is evergreen content. This content should be everywhere. It should be repurposed. And that's just one little snippet. At the very least, put that as a paid ad and have it run at $2 a day forever, capturing video views of people in Bucharest. This is, I think there's a huge opportunity missed there, because the more you have that running, the more 95% video views you're collecting of people that are engaged and they can understand and visualize what that Karo Kubar experience is like. Now, let's see what else they got running here. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. See? It's a Saturday night. I love everything about that. That was the experience I had the first night I was there, right? Now, you're not going to get that every night. I get it. I mean, I'm sure the restaurant would be amazing if they could do that every night, and they probably could with the right promotion. But in this case here, this specific video, which is amazing, which showcases the experience, only has 41 likes, and that's the beginning of end of it. You're not using it for any paid ads. There's nothing on the website. Massive miss. This content needs to be sitting there front and center on the website. I should be browsing each and every one of these reels on the website as I'm seeing the menu, okay? Because a lot of people, when they want to go to a restaurant, the first thing they're going to do is look at the menu, right? So you got to make sure that they can see the menu along with the experience that they're going to get as well. Now, what I would do if I was this specific restaurant is I would have two content lanes, one specific to tourists and one specific to locals. All right. You want to keep the history, the spectacle, and that bucket list angle. But at the same time, you want to show those private dining rooms and those private experiences. Because naturally what happens if you gear too much towards one, you lose out on the other. Okay. If you put all of your ads into tourists or people that are at the airport or people that are just temporarily visiting Bucharest, you're going to fill up. You're going to get a lot of tourists. But one thing about tourists is they just want to go there for the experience and check the bucket list. And they might not be spending 100 euros on a dinner. They might go there for the beer and the app. And as the restaurant, it's not a great scalable model to just be that historical site that sells beer and appetizers, right? So the opportunity is to showcase the private dining room, hosting family celebrations, hosting corporate events locally to businesses in Bucharest. That is a totally different angle and a totally different ICP, ideal customer profile, you have to go after. So you have to create two different pieces of content, one to go towards the tourist, one to go towards the locals. Now, money is totally being left on the table here because they're not doing any retargeting. Okay, anybody watching any of that video content can't be retargeted. Anybody that's going over to the, that's visiting the menu, great audience to retarget. It's not happening. They're not being retargeted. Retargeting for restaurants is one of the most important things you can do because it keeps your restaurant top of mind with those potential customers. If you're not retargeting, you are definitely, most definitely dropping the ball. So if I were to break this down, there's a few things you need to look at, right? First of all, if I'm Caro Caber, first thing I'm doing is I'm fixing the website first. If it's loading slow, you got to fix that. If you're not capturing my attention in the first 3 seconds, you got to fix that. Okay. Installing the pixels so you can properly retarget. Start running those retargeting ads. Okay. You don't need to break the bank. Spend $5 a day. You could even go as far as creating a lead magnet. Okay, how about a lead magnet around a guide to Romanian dining traditions? Okay, something like that somebody can download, and now you're building up that email list. Okay, and that email list, if you're geared towards the tourist ICP, then you should run a nurture sequence that's about 2 or 3 emails following opt-in. Okay, you're ensuring that you're capturing those people in that short duration of time while they are there in the city of Bucharest. Okay. Now, the other one could be, maybe planning a family gathering. That could be a great lead magnet as well that will appeal to that local audience. Once you build this email sequence, now you can continue to hammer them with any sort of a discount, that New Year's event. This is going to be a warm audience of users that are in your email. You own that email list. Nobody can take that away from you. Now, the big problem here overall is there's a lot of tourists that are going to this restaurant, and I think they're hugely missing out on the local audience because you can see from the reviews themselves, you get a lot of people that are showing up, they're leaving a review once and never coming back. It's so important for a restaurant to get that recurring business. So you can't totally omit the locals. You have to have a strategy and a plan to get those local patrons continuing to come in, get those local businesses to continue to come in for their weekly lunches, whatever it is. Because if you forget about that side of it and you're too heavy on the tourists, it's going to be much more difficult to go and get that next customer in the restaurant. So all in all, my idea for these guys is they got to start treating their business like it's 2025 and not like the year 1879 when they brewed that beer. Okay, so if you like this video, I'd love to get a like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Hey, if you've eaten that Caro Caber, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, see you soon.